Hello everybody, this is an educational program for a fictitious organization called Future Thinking regarding their diversity and technology. Before we get started, a little context behind the organization. They have experienced a fast progression and the leadership has also located areas of growth. As such, they have requested an educational program to help their employees. Now, the issues are that there are 4 different age generations actively working on various aspects of organization. Due to the age gap and different expectations, there are conflicts among those groups, especially in terms of technology usage and working habits. In fact, one of the chief concerns among the employees is regarding the distinct work habits and reliance on technology and social media. Employees also have work from home options as well as remote centers located both inside and outside of the United States. Now, because of that, many employees regularly connect virtually. In addition to that, since the organization has national and international centers, employees have mentioned the difficulty in understanding their colleagues' accents who have lived in different parts of the US and who have different primary language. All of these issues combined have created challenges for the organization. Now, besides low morale among the employees, they're also experiencing difficulty in collaborating and communicating with each other, which is negatively affecting productivity. The management is concerned that if these issues are allowed to continue, then the employees may seek other opportunities, thus shifting the talent away from the organization. The organization's specific need is to resolve communication issues. The communication issues seem to be resulting from employees' frustration at not being able to understand their colleagues, which is negatively impacting their collaborative efforts. Since many of the employees work remotely, reliance on technology seems to be difficult for some individuals as well. Now, this may be especially be challenging for the senior generation who are more accustomed to face-to-face connection rather than virtual connection. Therefore, the root cause appears to be the growing diversity and technology that is impeding colleagues from improving their relationships with one another. Now, their profile is as such. They are, in terms of their ages, they range from 20 to 70 years old. There are approximately 40% male and 60% female employees. Everyone in the population has at least a college level education, but a majority of the individuals in the upper management has a graduate level education. The population also has an international subpopulation, and many individuals in this core speak a language other than English. Now, as a result, it is critical to be mindful of different cultures as not to insult any norm. The group is highly motivated and they're looking forward to finding ways to increase collaboration. Since the reliance on technology is high among employees and they continuously work in high-tech environment, the population prefers a classroom setting for course delivery. Since many people do work remotely, we cannot expect them to attend the the training in person. But it is highly recommended for employees to attend the course, and because of that, the organization has agreed to pay for travel and lodging. But this does not apply to employees who are located at international centers. To accommodate them, though, the organization will utilize its virtual communication system. The education efforts will aim to help employees embrace the growing diversity and create strategies to reduce conflict and improve their working relationships. The main objective is to have fewer amount of conflicts among employees and to gain a better understanding of the company's technology platform. Now, during participation in roleplay, the employees should be able to apply techniques provided at the training to recognize the triggers that cause frustration and also express them in a way that's not offending or insulting to the employees. 4 out of 5 interaction with colleagues without any error. Also, employees should be able to create an action plan that contains at least 4 items for preventing conflict at work. Now, following the presentation on technology used by the organization, the employees should be able to describe each platform and how it benefits them without error. And they should be able to operate each platform and detect why it's useful at least once for every platform during the practice session. Employees should also be able to recite the technical assistant phone line without error and list at least 2 reasons as to why they would need to call after the training session. And employees should know which topics are deemed appropriate to discuss at work and which are not. While the diversity training component will be delivered through captive audience, also known as classroom training, the technology component will be provided through a computer projector to show the audience how to navigate the company's software. Since the organization has employees in international locations, and as I mentioned before, we cannot expect them to be here We will teleconference the entire training through Zoom video communication. So because of that, the entire learning is blended as we have groups of learners present in class and who are participating synchronously. The organization has ensured that the employees understand how to use Zoom before the training starts to preclude any confusion. The entire education program is structured and will last 10 days, excluding weekends. Due to high employee attendance, they will be divided into two groups. The first group will go through diversity training for 3 days, followed by 2-day training for technology, and then the groups will switch. The training will start at 9 in the morning and continue until afternoon, with occasional 15-minute breaks in between as the facilitator sees fit. The educational program will have multiple modes. Role-play, discussion, and brainstorming will be used for diversity training. Role-play will be helpful for colleagues to understand how to react in a challenging situation while in a safe environment. They will be given appropriate scenarios by the facilitator and required to resolve them. The role-play will then lead to critique and discussion among employees on strengths and weaknesses of the presented scenarios and solutions. Finally, there will be 5 to 10-minute brainstorming activity in which employees will come up with different strategies to resolve future issues and share to fill the knowledge gap. During this time, the facilitator will also review topics that are deemed appropriate in a professional setting and topics that should be avoided with reasonings. To help employees better understand technology used by organization and reduce frustration, the employees participating in training sessions with 5 employees, and that's about it, just so the facilitators have time to answer any questions. They will be required to bring their own laptops so they can follow step by step with the facilitator. And they will be giving written instructions with screenshots after the training. And then our international population will also have a tech steward working with them online so they can understand the software too. The reference list after the entire training will be emailed to the entire group. The data will be gathered through observation during discussion role-play. The trainer will evaluate through a sheet ranging from 1 to 5, with 1 being the least engaged and 5 being the most. And then through this, the trainer will be able to score the overall participants' engagement. The first objective will be evaluated through Kirkpatrick's Level 2 learning model during the role-play. And also, since employees will be in our role play, designers will be able to see how they're applying the techniques based on the application and given scenarios. Finally, the first part of the second objective, which is presentation, will be evaluated through Kirkpatrick's Level 1. Instructional observational will be utilized to assess to which degree the employees are paying attention to the presentation. Since employees are divided into 2 groups, the observation shouldn't be hindered. Following the presentation, the second and third objective will be evaluated through Kirkpatrick's Level 2, which will be a discussion on role of each technology platform and how it's useful for one's need. Now, there will be knowledge tests on each platform. The trainer will work individually with each platform to determine how to operate it so they can see if the employees have learned what they needed to learn. And then the trainer will randomly pick employees and will give them a random topic, and they will be required to assess whether the appropriate to discuss at work or not. And after the entire training, there will be a survey with yes and no questions that will be given out. Also, after 6 months, human resource representative and the IT department will be contacted to see if there has been a decline in any conflicts or technical assistant. And in addition to all of that, follow-up modules on how to handle work conflicts and refreshers on companies' technical platforms will be sent, and interview questions as well to see how they're doing after the entire session and how well they're learning. Now, finally, before we end, our participant requisites are pretty small. They need to be employees of Future Thinking. And they need to be able to understand English, and they need to bring their own laptop. For facilitators, they need to be employees of Future Thinking, and they need to have supervisor's consent, as well as demonstrated computer skill at the minimum level required to navigate and explain the basics of software used by the company. They must also have 5-hour Train the Trainee program with certification before training program even starts. And this is our entire program training objectives, as well as how it will be evaluated. If there are any questions, please feel free to contact me. And here's our reference list. We could not have done this entire training program without these authors who really helped understand how to develop a successful program.